Be honest. How many times today did your mind grab a what if, wrestle it to the ground, and still walk away with nothing but a headache? Worry is a thief that shows up wearing a helper's badge. It promises control, clarity, safety, then quietly drains your energy, your sleep, and your joy. You check your phone again. You do the mental math again. You replay the same conversation again. And beneath all that noise, a gentle truth keeps knocking. You were never designed to hold the entire world in your two hands. Stop worrying and give it to God isn't a slogan for coffee mugs. It's a strategy for surviving real life on regular Mondays. Imagine this. The bills aren't paid yet. The email isn't answered yet. The diagnosis isn't resolved yet. Your mind starts sprinting toward every possible disaster scenario while your body sits perfectly still. That gap-still, body-sprinting mind is where anxiety multiplies. So let's flip the script. Instead of letting worry write your day's agenda, we begin with God and hand him the pen. Not because pretending is easier, but because peace is a better operating system than panic. Here's the first shift. Worry is not preparation, it's preoccupation. Preparation plans actions you can take. Preoccupation loops problems you can't fix alone. If your thinking doesn't end with a step you can do in the next 24 hours, it's not planning, it's spiraling. And spirals don't make you safer, they make you smaller. Personally, I feel one of the most liberating realizations in adulthood is this. The universe doesn't require your constant surveillance to keep spinning. Your job isn't to be God, it's to walk with God. So what does give it to God look like when the rent is due and your chest is tight? It looks like movement plus surrender. Practical steps wrapped in honest prayer. 1. Name it plainly. Anxiety feeds on vagueness. Say it out loud. God, I'm worried about the meeting tomorrow, about the scan results, about money this month. Naming locates the burden so you can lift it. 2. Sort what's yours versus what's his. Yours. The phone call, the budget, the apology, the research, the bedtime. His. Outcomes. Other people's choices. Tomorrow's surprises. You are responsible for obedience. He is responsible for results. 3. Take one faithful action. Send the email. Set the appointment. Build the plan. Then stop. Trust doesn't mean passivity. It means you stop doing God's job after you've done yours. 4. Release the residue. When the loop tries to restart, breathe. Inhale, I receive. Exhale, I release. From my subjective view, this is more than a calming trick. It's a physical confession that your soul refuses to carry what your hands can't change. Let's deal with the fear underneath. Worry. The belief that if you stop obsessing, something terrible will slip through the cracks. But think about your track record. How many disasters did your midnight overthinking actually prevent? And how many mornings did you wake up exhausted from battles fought entirely in your imagination? God's invitation isn't ignore reality. It's bring reality into my presence before it becomes your prison. There's a reason Scripture keeps repeating, do not be afraid and cast your cares. Because the human default is to clutch, not cast. Here's the promise. When God holds it, you can finally be present. Present in the conversation instead of rehearsing your reply. Present in your work instead of worrying about someone else's opinion. Present with your kids, your spouse, your own breath. Worry shrinks the room you're in. Trust opens windows. Personally, I feel the most beautiful part of surrender is how practical the benefits are. Better focus, gentler tone, steadier decisions. Peace isn't just a feeling, it's functional. Maybe you're thinking, I've tried to let go, but it boomerangs right back. Of course it does. Worry is a habit, and habits have momentum. That's why we don't aim for one dramatic moment of surrender. We practice micro surrenders all day long. Before you open your inbox, God, lead my replies. Before the meeting, guide my words. After the bad news, hold what I can't. Help me do what I can. Thousands of tiny transfers from your hands to his. That's how a life moves from frantic to faithful. And no, surrender doesn't make life easy, but it does make you strong in the right way. Worry builds tension, trust builds endurance. Worry is loud and bossy, trust is quiet and stubborn. Worry demands certainty before it moves. Trust moves and discovers certainty on the way. From my subjective view, the people who glow with a kind of unshakable calm aren't the ones with simple lives. They're the ones who train their hearts to hand things over quickly. Let's get highly practical. Tonight and tomorrow morning, try this stop worrying script. Step 1, write. List the top 3 worries trying to own your mind. No essays, just headlines. Step 2, divide. Draw 2 columns, my step and God's part. Put 1 clear action next to each worry under my step. Put everything else under God's part. Step 3, pray out loud. Hand him the God's part column by name. Tear it off if you want. Put it somewhere you won't keep grabbing it. Drawer, journal, even the trash. Step 4, act. Do your 1 step today, then stop. The stopping is as sacred as the doing. And if the anxious loop tries to restart at 2 a.m., get up, drink water, read 1 line of truth, breathe deep, repeat the handover. This isn't failure, it's training. The heart learns through repetition. I won't lie to you, there will still be storms. The forecast for a human life is never clear skies forever. But here's the good news that worry can't stand. You don't have to face storms alone or empty-handed. You walk with the one who sleeps through waves and speaks to wind. You carry practices that calm your nervous system and anchor your attention. You have permission to stop being your own small God and start being a loved child again. So today, before you scroll, before you spiral, do this with me. Place both hands open on your lap and say, God, I give you what I can't control, and I'll do the next faithful thing I can. Then move 1 email, 1 call, 1 meal, 1 step. You are not powerless. You are not alone. You are held. Have you ever shelved a brilliant idea before it took its first breath because a small voice hissed, what if it goes wrong? And you believed it. Worry is convincing because it wears prudence's clothes. It sounds responsible. It borrows the tone of wisdom while selling you paralysis. Let's draw a hard boundary. Prudence plans. Worry pretends. Prudence makes lists, calls the accountant, books the appointment, sets the alarm. Worry does none of that. It narrates catastrophe in HD and calls it being realistic. A simple test exposes the difference. If your concern doesn't end in a concrete action you can take within the next 24 hours, it's not prudence, it's a prison. Personally, I feel one of the most freeing shifts you can make is to stop treating every anxious thought like a consultant and start treating it like background noise. Give it to God isn't a mood you wait to feel, it's a practice you choose. Run this 5-step loop whenever your mind starts chewing the same fear down to the bone. I call it the surrender loop. Fast, plain, and repeatable. First, locate the threat. 1 clean sentence that starts with, I'm worried that. Anxiety thrives on vagueness. Clarity starves it. Second, limit the perimeter. 2 columns labeled my step and God's part. If the outcome requires your hands, your words, or your calendar, it goes under my step. Outcomes, other people's choices, and tomorrow's variables belong under God's part. From my subjective view, this single separation has saved me hours of useless rumination. Third, lean with plain prayer. Father, here's what I fear. Here's what I'll do. I hand you the rest. No theatrics, just truth said slowly enough for your nervous system to hear it. Fourth, lift 1 faithful action that advances the situation by an inch. Send the email, book the consult, open the doc. Action shrinks anxiety because it converts adrenaline into motion. Fifth, leave the residue. If the loop restarts in 10 minutes, you didn't fail, you're training. Repeat. Locate, limit, lean, lift, leave. Build on that loop with a weekly worry audit to defang the fears that keep returning like spam mail. 3 columns. Recurring worry, reality check, and routine and ritual. Maybe it's money, reality rent due on the 1st, invoices net 30, routine Friday, 20-minute money review, auto transfer set, ritual pray over the budget and speak provision scriptures aloud. Maybe it's health, reality blood work in 2 weeks. Routine 20-minute daily walk, water bottle on the desk. Ritual gratitude for the body you have today while you release the results you can't control. Maybe it's your niche and growth. Reality, 2 long pieces and 6 clips per week. Routine Tuesday divided by Thursday, 90 minutes of deep work before messages. Ritual ask daily, who can I help today? And send 1 DM that delivers value. Worry hates audits because audits turn fog into lists, and lists give you your life back. Address the classic hotspots. 2 the 3 a.m. spiral and the pre-meeting panic. For 3 a.m., sit up with feet on the floor. Name the fear in 1 sentence. Breathe. 4, 2, 6. For 3 cycles. Inhale. 4. Hold. 2. Exhale. 6. Read one line of anchor truth and make a micro transfer. I release the outcome. Tomorrow, I will take this one step. Write the step on a pad so your brain stops guarding it. For meeting panic, use a 2-minute stall routine. Ground your body. Palms pressed, shoulders down. Frame the job. My role is clarity, not control. Choose one goal, one opening sentence, one question, then whisper, make me useful, and walk in. Serving dissolves performance anxiety at the root. Another hidden fuel for worry is decision debt, unmade choices that clutter your head like a messy closet. Each morning, do a 2-list sweep. Must decide today, no more than 3, and park until Friday. Time box the musts for 10-20 minutes each. Use simple triage. If it's reversible, decide fast and iterate. If it's irreversible, gather one wise counsel, then decide. If it drags you outside your niche, it's probably a pretty detour. Your mind will stop patrolling at odd hours because it trusts the morning plan. Now to identity, where many worries are born. Am I enough? What if I fail? Give your nervous system a better script out loud. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I am guided, not guessing. I am loved before I am successful. I will do the next faithful thing and let peace set my pace. Personally, I feel these lines work because they align your beliefs with your behavior, your theology with your psychology. Curate your information diet like it's fuel. Mornings, no news or social. Before your covenant, 15 minutes, breath, gratitude, anchor truth. One needle moving action. Evenings, low light, low input, a page of truth or a quiet playlist, a short prayer. Anxiety feeds on novelty and noise. Peace grows in rhythm and repetition. And because builders are magnets for worry, install rails around your craft. A hook lab. Write 10 hooks for one idea. Pick one now. Schedule 9 later. A 3-pass flow draft edit ship, not one endless tweak. A distribution ritual. Publish, clip, email, then step away for 1 hour. And a Friday prune and plant prune. One distraction. Plant one upgraded template, a tighter CTA, a clearer thumbnail. Your niche expands through depth, not dread. Excellence becomes worship when you offer it without letting metrics be your master. Don't forget forgiveness. Some worries cling to old disappointments the way a bruise clings to a memory. If you need to forgive yourself for a mischance, say it, I release me. If you need to forgive someone who failed you, say it, I release them. Unforgiveness is a tab running in the background. It drains battery and bandwidth you need for today's obedience. Close the tab and watch your mental RAM return. Here's a 1-day template to prove this isn't theory. Morning, breath, gratitude, anchor truth, one move. Midday, run 1. Surrender loop on your loudest worry. Evening, 2-list sweep is less than or equal to 3 decisions. 1 line of gratitude, 1 spoken release. Then ask before bed, did worry make me smaller today, or did trust make me stronger? If the answer is stronger, keep going. If not, no shame, grace gives you another morning to begin again. From my subjective view, the win isn't never feeling anxious. It's shortening the distance between the first anxious thought and your next faithful step. And that distance shrinks fastest when you stop worshiping what if and start practicing. Even if it's hard. I am not alone. Even if I can't see the ending, I can take the next step. Even if outcomes are uncertain, obedience is not. Do you know what steals more peace than almost anything else? The hour before sleep, when the world goes quiet and your thoughts get loud, when every what if in your life auditions for the lead role in your mind. That's where worry loves to rehearse. So tonight, instead of giving it the stage, you flip the script. You build a simple, repeatable night transfer that turns anxiety into alignment and lets your body and soul actually recover. Start by shutting the gates, put the phone out of reach, dim the lights, glance at tomorrow's first block just long enough to confirm it exists, then stop. No last-minute planning frenzy. Your brain needs one message. There is a plan, therefore we are safe. Personally, I feel this single micro-boundary cuts a shocking amount of nighttime spiraling because your nervous system stops scanning for threats and starts preparing for rest. Next, do the transfer on paper. Draw 2 columns, my step and God's part. Write the 3 loudest concerns in clean headlines, money, a meeting, test results, a relationship that feels brittle. For each one, put exactly one concrete action under my step. Send the email by 10 a.m. Schedule the call. Update the budget line. Outline the talking points. Put everything else under God's part: outcomes, timing, other people's decisions, tomorrow's variables. Now pray in plain language. Father, here's what I fear. Here's what I will do. I hand you the rest. Tear off the God column and put it somewhere you won't keep grabbing it. Journal, drawer, even the trash. Worry hates tangibility. Surrender thrives when you make it physical. Tell your body it's safe. Breathe low and slow. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6, 8 easy cycles. Stretch what got tight today. Open your chest in a doorway. Fold gently over your legs. Anxiety is unused electricity. Give it an exit. Then thread one line of truth through your mind. Not a chapter, one sentence you can actually remember at 3 a.m. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. God works while I rest. That becomes your sleep sentence. Whisper it until your jaw unclenches and your shoulders drop. Practice gratitude with specificity. Not I'm thankful for life in the abstract, but I'm thankful for the barista who smiled, the message I finally sent, the 10 quiet minutes I kept for myself. Specificity trains your attention to scan for what's working instead of what's missing. From my subjective view, this is where the psychological and spiritual meet. Gratitude is worship in the language of your nervous system. When the 3 a.m. spiral shows up, and some nights it will, don't perform heroics. Sit up, feet on the floor. Name the fear in one sentence. Breathe 4, 2, 6 3 times. Read your one truth line. Write one next step for the morning so your brain stops guarding it. Then repeat your sleep sentence and lie back down. The win is not I never woke up. The win is I return to peace quickly. If anxiety hits just before a meeting, run a 2-minute reset in the hallway. Plant your feet, press your palms, pull your shoulders down. Frame your job. My role is clarity, not control. Pick one goal, one opening sentence, one question. Say, make me useful, and go in. Worry says perform. Trust says serve. The second turns adrenaline into focus. A lot of nighttime noise is just decision debt. Unmade choices cluttering your head like a messy closet. Do a quick sweep before bed. List no more than 3 decisions for tomorrow. And time box each for 10-20 minutes. Use simple triage. If a choice is reversible, decide quickly and iterate. If irreversible, ask one wise person, then decide. If it pulls you outside your niche and dilutes your lane, it's probably a pretty detour. Your mind sleeps when it trusts the morning will bring a verdict. Identity talk matters most when the lights go out. Speak it out loud so your body hears your beliefs. I am guided, not guessing. I am loved before I am successful. I will do the next faithful thing and let peace set my pace. Personally, I feel these declarations work because they replace the brain's doom narration with a better script anchored in truth and practice. Curate your inputs like medicine. After 8 p.m., trade scrolling for low light, low noise routines. A page of wisdom, calm music, a short prayer. Keep a night kit in your drawer, a notepad, a pen, and one truth card. Keep a hallway kit in your head. Ground frame focus pray. Kits beat spirals because they replace rumination with ritual. If you're a builder or creator, worry often stalks your craft. Install rails that make fear irrelevant to execution. Write 10 hooks for one idea and pick one. Run a clean 3-pass flow. Draft, edit, ship instead of an endless tweak loop. Publish, clip, email, then walk away for an hour before you check reactions. Every Friday, prune one distraction and plant one upgrade, a tighter CTA, a reusable template, a clearer title. Your niche expands through depth and consistency, not dread. Excellence becomes worship when you offer your best without letting metrics become your master. Forgiveness is a sleep aid no app can replicate. If you need to forgive yourself for what you botched today, say it. If you need to forgive someone who dropped the ball, say it. Unforgiveness is a tab running in the background. It drains battery and bandwidth you need for tomorrow's obedience. Close the tab and feel your mind exhale. Here's a 7-night experiment to prove this isn't theory. Nights 1, 2, run the full transfer, 2 columns, breathwork, truth line, gratitude. Nights 3, 4, add the 3 a.m. kit to your nightstand and rehearse it once before lights out. Night 5, sweep your decision. Debt is less than or equal to 3 choices. And put time boxes on your calendar. Night 6, curate inputs. No news or social. Protect quiet. Night 7, review which steps lowered anxiety the fastest and lock those in as your baseline. Measure what matters, not perfect sleep scores, but faster returns to peace. And if the day hits you with real bad news, the kind that makes the room go small, let the night be triage, not theater. Tell the truth about what happened in 2 lines. Do one kind thing for your body. Hand God everything that isn't your next faithful step. Set one small action for the morning. Then, even with tears, repeat the sentence that makes the darkness honest but not sovereign. Even if this is hard, I am not alone, and I will be given the strength and the steps for that day. You are not failing because you feel the weight at night. You are human. The point is not to never wake or never worry. The point is to shorten the distance between the first anxious thought and your next faithful step. That distance shrinks when you practice transfer, not torture. Ritual, not rumination. Service, not performance. Excellence, not perfection. God is not only in your mornings, He is on the night shift. 2, working while you rest, writing while you sleep, preparing mercies for the moment your feet hit the floor. Breathe, hand it over. Sleep like someone who finally believes that. When bad news is real, the goal is not to pretend it isn't. Faith isn't denial, it's direction. You don't have to paste a smile on a shattering moment. Start by telling the truth to God in the same words you'd use with a trusted friend. This hurts. I'm scared. I don't know what to do next. Honesty is not disrespect in prayer, it's alignment. You are handing raw material to the one who can hold it without flinching. Personally, I feel this first move, naming things plainly, is how you stop leaking power into the shadows. What stays vague stays dominant. What you drag into light starts to loosen its grip. Then refuse the 2 easy exits. Panic and numb. Panic tries to sprint through the pain and burn you out. Numb tries to sleep through the pain and stall your life. Neither is healing. Aim for steady. That means narrowing your scope to the next faithful inch, not the next 5-year plan. Write 2 short lines. What happened and what's mine? The first is the fact pattern, not a novel. The second is your response pattern. The specific actions that belong in your hands today. 1 call, 1 appointment, 1 email, 1 boundary. Everything else, including outcomes and other people's choices, goes back in God's hands. You're not abdicating responsibility. You're refusing to carry what isn't yours to lift. At night, when fear tends to get loud, run a recovery flywheel that is gentle and firm. Reveal. Gather clean data. What was said, what is scheduled, what the numbers actually are. Repent. Not in the shaming sense, but in the literal. 1. Turn back from the spirals that don't serve you. If you abandoned your rhythms, return. If you let bitterness set up a tent, evict it. Repair. Install 1. Upgrade. You can point to a clearer calendar block, a rewritten message, a stricter boundary, an extra hour of sleep. Release. Breathe slowly and hand the residue back to God on purpose. I'm done for tonight. I trust you to work while I rest. From my subjective view, this is where the miracle usually hides, not in fireworks, but in the new calm that starts showing up in your sentences and your shoulders. If the bad news involves people, use a simple framework to keep your heart clean and your relationships honest. Clarify. Agree on the facts. Before you argue about feelings, acknowledge. Name how each person was impacted without cross-examining their emotions. Repair. Decide who will do what by when, in writing if needed. Evaluate. Circle back in a week. Did the repair hold, or do we need another pass? Most conflicts don't need genius. They need courage and follow through. And if someone refuses repair, you're allowed to adjust access. Forgiveness and trust are not the same speed. Forgive quickly, rebuild trust slowly with evidence. When loss hits health, work, a door you prayed would open, grief becomes a holy teacher. Don't rush it. Schedule space for it, a walk without headphones, a page of journaling where you write the sentence you've been dodging, a conversation where you tell the truth without theatrics. And still, even in grief, give the day a spine. Eat something with protein, drink water, touch sunlight, move your body for 15 minutes. Text one friend, I'm okay, just quiet. These small obediences keep despair from declaring squatters' rights in your nervous system. You're signaling, this hurts, and I'm still here. Bring your craft and your niche into this too, because real setbacks love to hijack your creative voice. Fear will whisper, go silent, until you have a perfect comeback. Don't. Speak smaller and truer instead. Name the problem without oversharing. Share one helpful handle, then ship. If long form feels too heavy, post a short piece that serves one person. Your voice doesn't need to be loud to be faithful. It needs to be present. Excellence over perfection, service over spectacle. Personally, I feel returning to service is the fastest way to locate your center after a hit. Who can I strengthen today? And how? Ask. Then do the tiny thing and call it enough for now. Run decision triage, so crisis doesn't turn your calendar into a junk drawer. Is this decision reversible? Decide quickly and be willing to iterate. Is it irreversible? Slow down, get one wise counsel, then move. Is it high leverage? Put it in your prime energy window, not in the leftover scraps. Is it outside your lane? If it drags you away from your niche and dilutes your main assignment, it's probably a shiny detour disguised as urgency. Your future self will thank you for every no you say to chaos. Protect the morning like it's medicine. Even on broken days, keep a 5-minute version of your covenant start. One deep breath cycle, one line of truth, one next faithful action. Your perfectionist will say, if we can't do the full routine, do nothing. Ignore it. A small hinge can swing a heavy door. You're training identity to speak before anxiety does. I am guided, not guessing. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. Peace sets my pace. Speak it out loud. Your nervous system believes your voice more than your thoughts. If your setback has financial edges, face the numbers without drama. Open the accounts. Write the balances. Map the next 4 weeks. Identify what you can sell, what you can trim, what you can invoice, who you can ask. Pray over the spreadsheet not as superstition but as surrender. Bless my stewardship, provide where I cannot. Then schedule a 20-minute weekly money review until the water calms. The enemy of peace is not numbers, it's avoidance. Data is a friend when you let it tell the truth and help you plan. If it's health, build a simple care loop. Appointments on the calendar. Movement scaled to your capacity. Meals that stabilize energy. Sleep that is fiercely guarded, and one person who checks in. If you're a caregiver, write a micro ritual for yourself, a 3-minute breath, a 5-minute walk, a 2-sentence prayer so you don't vanish inside the role. Caring well for someone else should not require abandoning yourself. That is not holy, it's unsustainable. When discouragement starts talking in absolutes, always, never, everyone, no one, translate it back to specifics. Absolutes are the language of a frightened brain. Specifics are the language of a faithful builder. Replace "this always fails" with "this version underperformed on Tuesday. I'll adjust the hook and timing." Replace "no one cares" with "two people replied with gratitude. I will build for them." You're not gaslighting yourself. You're rescuing the truth from exaggeration. Finally, give the day a benediction. Not a performance, an honest closing. I did what was mine. I released what was yours. I kept my word where I could. I will try again tomorrow. Then do something small that invites joy back into the room. A song, a stretch, a hot shower, a clean sheet of paper for the morning. Joy is not an afterthought, it is fuel. You will need it for the road ahead. You're not weak because you're wounded. You're not faithless because you feel fear. You're human and you're held. The win is not to never be shaken. It's to shorten the distance between the shaking and your return to peace, purpose, and the next faithful step. That distance shrinks when you refuse, panic, reject, numb, tell the truth, serve someone, and hand God what only God can carry. Breathe. Do the inch that's yours. Sleep under mercy. Rise with a plan. And keep building a life sturdy enough to hold both your calling and your storms. You know what finally quiets the mind after you've done the breathing, the journaling, the prayers? A clear rhythm that keeps you from renegotiating your peace every hour. Worry thrives in ambiguity. It loses oxygen when your day has rails. Start by choosing one sentence that leads everything. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. Put it on your lock screen. Let it decide how fast you walk and what you work on first. Personally, I feel this tiny pre-decision is the difference between a day that owns you and a day you actually steward. Give your morning a simple spine you can keep even when life is messy. One breath cycle, one line of truth, one faithful move. That's it. If you want to add more on good days, do it, but don't tie your peace to elaborate rituals you can't sustain during storms. The point is not aesthetics, it's alignment. And alignment compounds. When your first act each day is surrender plus action, the rest of the hours tend to follow suit. Then protect your attention like a scarce resource. You only get so many high-quality minutes. Spend them where they buy back future peace. Set a modest, deep work window before communication apps, 45 to 90 minutes 3 times a week. Use that space for the task that most advances your calling or your niche. Drafting, designing, studying, practicing. If your brain tries to wander into what-if country, bring it back with a question that never fails. Who am I serving right now, and what do they need next? Service turns your energy forward. Worry turns it inward. Run decisions through a quick triage so you don't burn glucose on low-stakes choices. Is this reversible? Decide fast and iterate. Is it high leverage? Put it where your best energy lives. Is it in my lane? If it drags me away from my niche and dilutes my assignment, it's probably a shiny detour. Do I have light for the next 2 steps? If yes, move. Clarity expands under motion. From my subjective view, people don't get stuck because life is complicated. They get stuck because they treat every fork in the road like a court case. Let your principles be the rails, not your feelings. To keep worry from sneaking back in through comparison, rewrite the scoreboard. Track behaviors you can control, not outcomes you can't. Did I keep my covenant start? Did I complete my one move? Did I ship the thing? Did I honor my stop time? Those are wins you can choose. Let views, likes, and replies be signals, not self-worth. Excellence is obedience in public. It's not a guarantee of applause. Personally, I feel the moment you stop outsourcing your joy to dashboards, your work gets cleaner and your pace gets kinder. Build a service review at week's end to reconnect impact with reality instead of imagination. 10 minutes. Who was helped and how? What created the biggest lift with the least friction? Do more of that. Where did energy leak? Design a guardrail. What will improve by 1% next week? Name the micro upgrade. This keeps you from making sweeping emotional pivots based on one slow post or one awkward meeting. You're training your system to respond with craft, not with panic. If people-pleasing is your trigger, pre-write your kind no. Something like, thanks for thinking of me. It's not aligned with my current focus, so I'll pass. Cheering you on. Save it. Use it. Every misaligned yes is a loan taken out against tomorrow's peace at predatory rates. Your assignment deserves a clean calendar and a clear conscience. When relationships are the worry source, choose candor early to protect connection later. Facts first, then feelings, then the fix. Here's what happened. Here's how it landed. Here's what I'm proposing next. Don't decorate the truth and don't weaponize it. If reconciliation is possible, structure it. What changes? Who owns it? By when will we check back? If it isn't possible, release them with dignity and adjust access. Forgiveness can be immediate. Trust returns on evidence. Money worries? Tackle them like a project manager, not a poet. Open the numbers without drama. Decide 3 levers you can pull this month. Reduce, replace, or raise. Reduce a cost. Replace a low-yield task with a better one. Raise value with a clearer offer. Schedule a 20-minute Friday finance session, same time, same chair. Pray over the spreadsheet. Bless what I steward, provide what I can't. Faith isn't a substitute for math. It's the courage to face the math and keep moving. Health worries? Build a non-negotiable baseline that travel and chaos can't steal. Water in reach, daylight on your face, 15 minutes of movement, a bedtime you treat like an appointment with your future self. If you're caring for someone else, write a micro ritual for your own oxygen. A 2-sentence prayer, 3 slow breaths, a 5-minute walk, once per shift. You are not abandoning holiness when you protect your capacity. You are ensuring you can love tomorrow. For creators, perfection pressure is just worry in a tuxedo. Solve it with structure. 10 hooks for one idea. Pick one now. Schedule the rest. Draft today. Edit tomorrow. Ship by noon. Publish clip, email. Then step away for 1 hour before you look at feedback. Every Friday, prune one distraction and plant one upgrade. A reusable template. A tighter CTA, a better thumbnail framework. Depth beats drama in every niche. Your voice gets heavier when your process gets lighter. Midday anxiety spike? Run the 5-minute surrender loop without ceremony. Locate the fear. Limit what's yours versus God's. Lean with plain prayer. Lift one small action. Leave the residue on purpose. And if the loop restarts, congratulate yourself, you're practicing. You would never shame a toddler for wobbling. Don't shame yourself for needing another lap. By evening, close the books with a 2-line examine. What strengthened me today? What stole strength? Keep what gives. Design against what drains. Then set no more than 3 decisions for tomorrow and time box them. Promise yourself a real stop time and keep it. Peace requires boundaries. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It's the fuel for doing the right things well. Underneath all of this is identity. Speak it out loud so your body hears your beliefs. I am guided, not guessing. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I was loved before I was successful. I will do the inch that is mine and let God be God. Personally, I feel these lines work because they give your nervous system a script that's truer than the fear of the moment. Your feelings can ride in the car, they just don't get the wheel. And when a day goes sideways, because some will, don't throw the whole system away. Run a fast recovery. Tell the truth without the drama. Return to your rails. Repair one process. Release the rest and ship something small. You are not trying to build a string of perfect days. You are building a durable life, one that can carry calling and pain at the same time without snapping. So the next time worry knocks, don't argue with it for hours. Acknowledge it. Transfer what isn't yours and move 1 inch in service of someone real. Then eat dinner. Laugh at something silly. Sleep under mercy. Wake to new strength. Repeat. That repetition is how trust becomes muscle memory. That's how peace stops being a visitor and starts being the host of your whole day. There's a moment in every day when you feel the fork. Either let the brain spin stories or step into a rhythm that makes those stories irrelevant. The option that wins is the one you've rehearsed. So rehearse what brings peace. Start with a small oath you can actually keep. No major life decisions while flooded. Flooded looks like shallow breathing, tight jaw, racing thoughts. If you catch any 2 of those, call a timeout. Personally, I feel this single boundary has saved more relationships, budgets, and opportunities than any clever hack. Timeout doesn't mean avoidance. It means you refuse to negotiate with fear while it's wearing your voice. When emotion cools, translate dread into design. Use a simple 3-line drill you can run on a napkin. This is the fear. This is the fact. This is the next faithful step. Fear. The launch might flop. Fact. Last month's piece converted at 2.3%. This one has a stronger hook and clear CTA. Next step. Finish the outline by 11. Record by 3. Schedule by 5. Fear loses theatrics when you force it onto paper next to data and a deadline. Turn comparison off at the breaker. Yours is a handcrafted assignment with a custom cadence. Comparison will try to persuade you that someone else's harvest calendar is your emergency. It isn't. Re-anchor to the audience you actually serve. Name them. Picture one person's morning, their commute, their bill, their quiet prayer, and ask what would help them breathe better today. Build for that person. From my subjective view, the fastest way out of envy is usefulness. Service returns you to your lane. If your niche is creative, install a cadence that keeps you shipping even when you're unsure. 10 hooks for one idea. Pick one today, schedule 9 later. Draft Monday, edit Tuesday, ship Wednesday. Clip on Thursday, email Friday. Don't let a single piece carry your self-worth. Let the body of work carry the weight. When the dashboard is noisy, audit inputs, not identity. Was the promise clear? Was the opening tight? Did the title earn a click from a cold audience? Did I publish when my people are awake? Iterate those. Don't rewrite your calling because of a sleepy Tuesday. Your body is part of your strategy. Water within arm's reach, sunlight on your face before screens, 15 minutes of movement to reset cortisol, a bedtime you treat like a contract with your future self. Health is not vanity here, it's voltage. Low voltage makes worry louder and courage expensive. Protect your voltage so obedience is affordable. If you're a caregiver, write a micro ritual that fits inside chaos. 3 deep breaths, a 2-sentence prayer, a slow sip of water, a quick text to a friend that says, I'm upright today. You're not stealing from anyone by staying human. You're ensuring you can love again tomorrow. Create a courage bank. Make a list of 10 moments you did the hard thing anyway, sent the proposal, told the truth kindly, walked back into the room after a miss. These are receipts. When worry starts negotiating, open the bank and withdraw evidence. I have done scary, faithful things before. I can do this next one. Personally, I feel evidence beats affirmation when the night gets loud. Your nervous system trusts memories more than pep talks. Refuse to let money stay spooky. Face the numbers with dignity. 3 levers per month. Reduce something that leaks cash. Replace a low-yield effort with a better one. Raise value with a clearer offer or tighter promise. Schedule a 20-minute money review every Friday, same chair, same time. Pray over the spreadsheet, bless what I steward, provide what I cannot. Faith and math are not rivals, they partner. Faith gives you the courage to open the sheet. Math gives you the steps to walk out of the fog. Write a kind no once and reuse it. I'm honored you asked. It's not aligned with my focus this quarter, so I'll pass. Cheering you on. Every misaligned yes mortgages your peace at predatory interest. Protect your calendar from counterfeit urgency. If a yes would drag you off your niche, it's a no, even if it flatters your ego. When relationships are the source of churn, lead with candor early so you don't bleed later. Facts first. Here's what happened. Then feelings. Here's how I experienced it. Then fix. Here's my proposal. Who does what by when? If repair is possible, put a date on the check-in. If it isn't, forgive quickly and adjust access. Forgiveness restores your heart. Boundaries restore your life. Trust returns on evidence, not slogans. Practice the 5-minute return anytime the loop restarts. Sit up, 2 slow inhales. Name the fear in 1 sentence. Divide my step versus God's part. Do 1 inch of your step. Speak 1 line of truth out loud, then get back to serving a real person. Worry is loudest when life is abstract. Reality, an email sent, a pantry restocked, a paragraph written shrinks monsters to manageable size. Build a joy discipline. Schedule 1 small delight per day that isn't monetized. A walk without headphones. A favorite passage out loud. Music you don't critique. Coffee in a real cup. Joy lubricates courage. It keeps the soul from grinding metal when circumstances get gritty. People who last in calling do not out-muscle pain, they out-nourish it. Design your environment to default to destiny. Put your Bible or anchor book where your phone used to sleep. Lay out your workout clothes at night. Preload tomorrow's top 3 on a sticky note and leave it on your keyboard. Put the off button for apps in plain sight. Willpower is a shaky security guard. Environment is a locked gate. When a day collapses because someone don't torch the system, run a tight recovery. Tell the truth without drama. Return to your rails. Peace, principles, patterns. Repair 1 process you can point to. Release the residue on purpose. And ship something small before you sleep. The aim isn't streaks, it's stamina. Personally, I feel legacies are built on ordinary Thursdays, stewarded with extraordinary consistency. And keep 1 sentence ready for the moment. The room goes quiet, and the old whisper walks back in. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. Say it until your shoulders drop. Say it until your next step appears. Then take that step, not because you've eliminated all worry, but because you've decided worry doesn't get executive privileges in your life anymore. There will always be a point in the day when the chatter spikes and you feel the old compulsion to grip everything tighter. Timeline, people, outcomes. That urge to grip is a signal, not a command. Treat it like a dashboard light. It's telling you to refuel with rhythm, not to floor the gas. Start by shrinking the horizon. Ask, what is the smallest faithful action that keeps me aligned? Not the most dramatic, not the most impressive, just the smallest faithful one. Send the note. Tidy the workspace. Outline the intro. Worry demands a grand gesture. Wisdom asks for the next inch. Build 3 anchor questions you can pull at any hour to interrupt spirals. Who am I serving right now? What problem am I solving in my niche? What is the next sentence, not the next saga? Personally, I feel these questions beat generic affirmations because they convert energy into aim. The moment you re-aim, anxiety has less room to invent disasters. Train your attention like a muscle with a 2-timer method. Timer A, 25 minutes of focused work on the 1 task that makes future you breathe easier. Timer B, 3 minutes to document where to resume. Close the loop in writing so your brain doesn't feel like it must stay vigilant. Then a quick reset, stand, sip, breathe, 4, 2, 6 once. Repeat twice. That's 56 minutes of traction disguised as a simple routine. From my subjective view, attention fatigue is often misdiagnosed as lack of calling. Most of the time, it's just untrained transitions. When uncertainty stretches out, Widen your definition of progress. Wins are not only outcomes, they're also repetitions. Track reps. Minutes drafted, pages read, outreach messages sent, recovery protocols kept. Let reps be your proof. On low metric days, outcomes lag, reps lead. This is where excellence over perfection becomes practical. Ship the best you can make today, then iterate. Perfection postpones life. Excellence composes it. Keep your 3 rails visible where decisions happen. Peace over panic, principles over pressure, patterns over guesswork. If a choice violates any rail, you already have your answer. If it honors all 3, move. Don't let your feelings turn decisions into filibusters. Feelings can ride shotgun, they just can't hold the map. Create a weekly alignment hour that protects both spirit and strategy. First 15 minutes. Silence, scripture, or a single line of truth. Write 1 sentence you will actually obey this week. Next 15. Review what served real people. Save screenshots, emails, messages that prove impact your courage. Bank. Next 15. Prune 1 commitment and 1 input that created noise. Final 15. Plant 1 upgrade, a template, a cleaner CTA, a sharper opening, a reusable checklist. Personally, I feel 1 protected hour like this outperforms a scattered week of reaction. If you lead others, even 2 freelancers, clarity is compassion. Define outcomes, owners, and done. Replace as soon as possible with a date and a deliverable. Replace make it better with the 3 qualities that mean better to you. Tighter intro, clearer promise, bolder proof. Invite pushback early. A 5-minute candid check-in on Monday prevents a 50 email drift by Thursday. You're not being rigid, you're being kind to everyone's nervous system. Rehearse goodness on purpose. Anxiety rehearses catastrophe. You can train the brain in the opposite direction without lying to yourself. At lunch, write a single goodness ledger line. Where did grace meet me today? The email that landed. The insight in the sentence. The laugh you didn't expect. This isn't denial, it's data. Your mind becomes what it repeats. Feed it evidence you'd want multiplied. When the algorithm feels like a tyrant, return to first principles of distribution. 1 flagship channel for depth, podcast, long video, long article. 1 discovery channel for reach, shorts, clips, carousel. 1 owned well, email list, community. Every long piece becomes 5 short ones pulled from its strongest 30 seconds or its clearest paragraph. Schedule, then step away. If a post underperforms, diagnose mechanics, not meaning opening second unclear, promise too vague, CTA competing, publish time off. Fix the mechanics, keep the mission. Don't let a Tuesday teach you theology. If you're backsliding into I'll rest when it's done, remember it's never done. Establish a real stop time. Guard 1 evening per week like a sacred practice of trust. Turn devices off, eat something unhurried, walk without headphones, read for delight. Joy is not a bribe you get after you perform. It's fuel you burn to perform with a clean heart. Burn dirty fuel long enough and your calling will knock, but you won't have the voltage to answer. Let money become a conversation instead of a ghost. Name your next 3 revenue levers. Deepen value, improve the promise, widen distribution, new partner, new slot, stabilize collection, clear terms, deposits. Put dates on each lever, pray over the plan and do the math. Faith gives you courage to start, math gives you direction to continue. They are friends. Keep a pre-fall checklist for days that are wobbling. Hydrate, quick protein, sunlight on face, 10 slow squats, 1 paragraph shipped, 1 message of service sent, 1 spoken line of identity. Say it out loud. I am guided, not guessing. I'm responsible for obedience, not outcomes. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. From my subjective view, nothing recalibrates faster than pairing a sentence with a small act of service. Service drags you out of your head and puts you back in your assignment. Write a storm memo to yourself and keep it in your notes for the day the sky cracks. If today collapses, here's what we do. Tell the truth without drama. Run the surrender loop once. Choose 1 repair. Text 1 friend. Ship something small. Rest on purpose. Add. We don't torch our systems when we're tired. We return to them. You're pre-deciding sanity for a future self who will need it. Finally, remember the way home is always the same. Start small. Start honest. Start now. Don't wait for a mythical clean slate. 5 faithful minutes today will beat 15 perfect ones you never do tomorrow. The voice of worry will not disappear. It will, however, get drowned out by a life of practiced trust. Practice looks like this. Transfer what you can't carry. Do the inch that's yours. Serve someone real. And shut the day with gratitude and a boundary. Repeat that pattern until your bones know it. One morning you'll notice the volume has dropped, not because the world got easier, but because you got anchored. If you need a closing move today, write the loudest worry in 7 words or fewer. Draw the 2 columns. My step divided by God's part. Choose one action you can complete before lunch. Speak your line. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. And begin. The rest will meet you on the way. There's a quieter kind of courage that doesn't trend. The ability to keep choosing trust while you build boring, beautiful consistency. Worry hates consistency because it can't compete with rhythm. So make rhythm your ally. Begin by naming your non-negotiables, so you're not renegotiating your peace every afternoon. One sentence to steer your pace, one small action that honors your purpose, one stop time that respects your humanity. Put them in your calendar, like appointments with your future self. Personally, I feel most anxiety spikes are really boundary failures, dressed up as emergencies. When your rails are visible, half the drama never gets on the track. When the day gets slippery, ask 3 grounding questions. What is true right now? What is mine to do next? What can I release without a committee vote? Truth shrinks monsters. Next steps: convert adrenaline into motion. Release is obedience in a direction you can't see yet. If your brain pushes back, but what if it all falls apart? Answer with receipts. Open your courage bank and read your own history. The call you made shaking, the day you told the truth kindly, the moment you shipped anyway. Evidence is medicine. Take it as prescribed. Build a tiny covenant around your inputs, because your peace is downstream from your diet. Morning, no screens until breath. Gratitude, 1 line of anchor truth, 1 needle mover. Midday, choose usefulness over surveillance. Serve 1 person in your niche with something specific. A checklist, a voice note, a clear answer. Evening, low light, low noise. 2 lines in a notebook. What strengthened me? What stole strength? Then place tomorrow's 3 decisions where your eyes will land. Worry thrives in novelty and noise. Order grows in repetition. From my subjective view, the holiest work you'll do this month may be protecting these quiet repetitions until they start protecting you back. If people are your pressure point, lead with candor and stay with kindness. Facts first, then feelings, then the fix. Here's what happened. Here's how it landed on me. Here's what I propose. Who does what by when? If repair is possible, schedule the check-in. If it isn't, bless and adjust access. Forgiveness is instant. Trust is earned on installments. And if the conversation turns combative, use the hallway rule. Lower your voice, lengthen your sentences, shorten your points. You're not trying to win, you're trying to build a future where both of you can breathe. Turn money from a ghost into a conversation. Open the numbers without drama. Pick 3 levers for the next 30 days. Reduce 1 leak. Replace 1 low-yield effort with a better one. Raise value with a clearer promise, and put dates on all 3. Pair stewardship with surrender. Bless what I can manage, provide what I can't. Then keep a 20-minute Friday finance session like it's sacred. You'll sleep better not because a miracle erased the math, but because you stopped avoiding the room where peace was waiting. Your body is not extra, it's infrastructure. Keep a water bottle within reach, get sunlight before screens, move for 15 minutes to clear cortisol, treat bedtime like an appointment you respect. Anxiety becomes expensive when voltage is low. Protect your voltage so obedience is affordable. If you're a caregiver, write a micro ritual that fits inside chaos: 3 breaths, a 2-sentence prayer, a glass of water, a text to a friend that says, I'm upright. You're not stealing from your calling by staying human, you're preserving it. On craft, perfection is anxiety and expensive clothes. Solve it with systems. 10 hooks for 1 idea. Choose 1 now and schedule the rest. Draft today, edit tomorrow, ship by noon. Publish clip email, then walk away for an hour before you read reactions. Weekly, prune 1 distraction and plant 1 upgrade. A reusable template, a tighter CTA, a crisper opening line, a thumbnail that actually earns the glance. Depth beats drama in every niche. The body of work will carry what a single post never could. When the loop restarts midday, run a 5-minute reset without theatrics. Locate the fear in 1 clean sentence. Limit it with 2 columns. My step divided by God's part. Lean with plain prayer. Here's what I fear. Here's what I'll do. I hand you the rest. Lift one faithful inch. Leave the residue on purpose. Repeat as often as needed. It's not weakness to repeat. It's training. You wouldn't shame a musician for scales. Why shame your soul for practice? Comparison is a counterfeit compass. Re-anchor to the person you serve. Name them, picture their morning, solve one real problem they're carrying today. When you build for that face, metrics become signals instead of verdicts. Let dashboards inform craft, not identity. Measure reps you can control. Covenant start kept. One move shipped. Standards honored. Stop time obeyed. Outcomes will catch up to a life like that, and even when they lag, you'll still be whole. Design a weekly alignment hour that stitches spirit to strategy. Verse 15, silence and one line of truth you can actually obey. Next 15, curate receipts of impact, DMs, emails, thank yous. Next 15, prune one obligation and one noisy input. Final 15, plant one upgrade. Put this hour on the calendar and guard it like rent. Personally, I feel this single ritual keeps you from declaring identity bankrupt on the basis of a Tuesday. When you're flooded, refuse to decide. Your rule is simple. No negotiations with fear while it's wearing your voice. Step away. Breathe 4, 2, 6 3 times. Walk to the window. Put your palm on something still. Repeat the sentence that has been carrying you. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. Then take the smallest faithful step you can complete before the clock advances 5 minutes. That's how momentum starts again, quietly, honestly, now. Don't let the night become theater for dread. Transfer your burdens with ink. 3 headlines. 1 action each under my step. Everything else under God's part. Tear the column. Put it in a drawer. Whisper your sleep sentence till your jaw unclenches. God works while I rest. The win is not to never wake. It's to return to peace faster than you did last month. Track that. Time to peace is a metric worth celebrating. Craft a storm memo for the version of you who will forget all of this on a hard day. Tell the truth without drama. Run the surrender loop once. Choose one repair. Text one friend. Ship something small. Rest on purpose. We don't torch systems when we're tired. We return to them. Read it when your hands start shaking. It's a note from your wisest self, written on a day when the room was bright. And keep joy on the calendar. 1 unmonetized delight daily, a walk without headphones, a psalm out loud, a song you don't critique, coffee in a real cup. Joy lubricates courage. It keeps the gears from grinding when life gets gravelly. Builders who last aren't the ones who never limp. They're the ones who know how to sing while they do. If you need a final move right now, do this. Write your loudest worry in 7 words or fewer. Draw the 2 columns. Pick 1 action you can complete before lunch and put it on a timer. Say it out loud so your body hears you. I am guided, not guessing. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. Begin. Let God hold the horizon while you take care of the inch. That's how a life gets built that worry can visit but never govern. There's a turning point in every builder's life when you realize peace isn't something you stumble into. It's something you schedule, protect, and practice until it becomes your default. The day will always try to talk you out of that. Deadlines get loud. People project their panic. Your own brain plays highlight reels of past misses. That's why you need pre-made promises you don't renegotiate when feelings surge. Start with this. I will not outsource my mood to metrics or other people's urgency. I will let peace set my pace and purpose set my plan. Personally, I feel half of resilience is simply keeping vows you made to yourself when you were clear on the days you feel cloudy. Bring community into the frame because worry thrives in isolation. Lone wolf energy looks romantic in movies. In real life, it's expensive. Choose 3 kinds of people and give each a lane. A truth teller who will hand you reality without theatrics. A peer who shares your niche and can swap playbooks, not just platitudes. A beginner you'll serve because teaching what you know cements your own courage. Schedule short, rhythmic touch points. 10-minute Monday voice notes with your peer to set intentions. A 15-minute Friday what worked, what wobbled with your truth teller. A weekly 20-minute session where you help your beginner clear one stuck point. From my subjective view, nothing shrinks anxiety faster than becoming useful to another human on purpose. Train how you enter rooms, because the first 30 seconds often decide whether worry or wisdom drives the meeting. Before you cross a threshold, Zoom or in person, ask 3 things. What decision does this room need? What value only I can add? What would make this easier for everyone else? Then carry yourself like a calming instrument. Slower breath, open shoulders, fewer words, stronger sentences. You're not pretending. You're leading nervous systems back to order. People remember how you made their bodies feel even more than the ideas you shared. If your calendar keeps collapsing, the problem isn't willpower, it's architecture. Build your day in blocks that protect both depth and recovery. A 90-minute deep work block on the needle mover, a 30-minute admin corral where low-level tasks go to live, so they stop ambushing your focus. 2 10-minute reset windows, light stretch, water, one line of truth so your nervous system never gets to the red zone without exits. Then a true stop time that respects your future self. You don't earn rest by finishing everything. You fuel tomorrow by resting today. Excellence is sustainable. Perfection isn't. Let's get bolder about boundaries, because kindness without clarity mutates into resentment. Write your guardrails page and tape it near your desk. What days you meet, what response times you keep, what projects you accept, and the kind no you'll send when requests don't fit your lane. Boundaries are not walls. They're fences with gates you control. They do not make you less generous. They make you last longer. The most loving thing you can do for your audience and clients is remain healthy enough to help them next month. Your message will always flirt with vagueness when fear rises. Fight it by demanding specificity. Who exactly are you talking to? At what moment in their day does your work meet them? What single sentence do you want them to say after encountering your piece? I finally know what to do next. I felt less alone. I can breathe again. Write your draft until it earns that sentence. Cut every line that doesn't move the reader toward it. If you build for everyone, you soothe no one. Speak to the one and watch the many lean in. When stakes feel high, rehearse, repair before anything breaks. Draft the apology you hope you never need. Direct, humble, specific, solution forward. Draft a self-forgiveness you'll need after you try and miss. I did what was mine with the light I had. I'll correct this one part and keep moving. Anxiety loses leverage when you've already written the words you need for worst-case corridors. It's not negativity, it's wisdom with a flashlight. Turn your courage bank into a living document. 10 entries to start, then add 1 per week. Include sensory detail, so your body remembers the courage, not just your mind. The tremble in your voice when you told the truth and still finish the sentence. The heat in your chest as you pressed publish. The quiet after you set the boundary and didn't explain it to death. Read 2 entries before a big moment. Evidence dissolves drama. Let money management become liturgy, short, repeatable, and honest. Open the accounts. Bless the stewardship. Choose 3 levers. Put dates on them. Then, as an act of faith and focus, pick 1 pebble expense to remove every month. Something small that leaks peace. Use the savings to buy time-back software that automates a cleaner template, a few hours of help. The return on less chaos beats the thrill of another impulse purchase every time. If health anxiety keeps spiking, reduce ambiguity where you can. Put appointments on the calendar, ask the simple questions you're scared to ask, and create a baseline day template that still works when you're low. Water within reach, sunlight on your face, 15 minutes of movement, 1 balanced meal, earlier lights out. That's not a punishment plan, it's emergency kindness. Your body is not an obstacle to your calling, it's the delivery system. On the craft side, assume distribution, friction, and design for it. First 5 seconds or first 2 lines must earn attention by promising relief from something specific. Titles and thumbnails should reflect the reader's felt problem in their words, not yours. 1 clear CTA, what to do next, and 1 reason to believe you microproof. A stat, a story, a screenshot. Keep a swipe file, but don't become a clone. Your edge lives where your honesty and your audience's ache overlap. Measure what matters. Yes, watch performance, but also track time to peace, how fast you return after a wobble. Promises kept to yourself and others, and people helped. Screenshots, names, initials. Those 3 tell the truth on days metrics lie. Personally, I feel the builders who last are not the ones who never wobble. They're the ones who get back to center quickly, honor their word, and keep strengthening actual people. Install a micro ritual for when shame tries to set up shop. Shame speaks in identity statements. You are. Counter with truthful identity out loud. I am guided, not guessing. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I was loved before I was successful. Then take 1 inch of aligned action. Send the message. Open the doc. Prep the meal. Shame hates motion. It relies on inertia. Move. When relationships churn, keep your side clean. If you owe an apology, make it short, specific, and delivered without self-defense. If you need a boundary, make it earlier than you'd prefer and kinder than you feel. If reconciliation fails, hold forgiveness close and widen your circle with people who practice clarity and care. You are allowed to be loyal to your peace and your purpose without being cruel to anyone. Give future you fewer emergencies by documenting the boring brilliance that already works. Your recording setup checklist, your niche research outline, the 10-hook generator you use before every script, the publishing cadence you follow even when tired, the storm memo for bad days. Put these in one folder called Rails. When emotions rise, you don't invent, you return. Lastly, keep joy on the calendar like it's part of the job, because it is. One daily delight that is not monetized and not optimized. A walk with no headphones, a psalm out loud, a song you don't critique, a handwritten note to someone who helped you breathe this year. Joy doesn't deny the grind. It oils the gears. You won't outmuscle worry forever, but you can outnourish it. If you need a move right now, make it this. Write your loudest worry in 7 words or fewer. Draw 2 columns. My step and God's part. Choose one action you can finish before the clock moves 15 minutes. Speak this so your body hears your belief. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. I will do the inch that is mine and let God hold the horizon. Then start. You don't have to feel invincible to be faithful. You just have to begin again and again until beginning becomes who you are. There's a kind of steadiness you can feel in people who've made peace their lifestyle, not their lucky streak. They still get hit with surprises, but they don't get hijacked by them. That steadiness isn't genetic, it's trained. Start by deciding that surrender is not your last resort, it's your operating system. Give God the part of the story you can't write, and then write the lines that are yours, with clean, deliberate strokes. If you keep doing that on ordinary Tuesdays, you'll look up and realize worry hasn't vanished, but it's been demoted. Shrink the horizon whenever anxiety swells. The future is where worry does its loudest advertising. Pull it back into the inch you can move. Ask, what can I finish before the next 15 minutes pass that would make tomorrow lighter? Send the overdue note. Outline the intro. Prep the simple meal. Fold the shirt. Action, even small, turns adrenaline into traction. Personally, I feel most I'm drowning moments are actually I need a smaller cup moments. Reduce the pour, you reduce the panic. Rehearse the truth you want to live. Your nervous system believes the sentences you repeat with breath and body more than the thoughts you silently juggle. Say it out loud while you move your hands. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. God works while I rest. Then pair the sentence with one aligned act. Open the dock, lace the shoes, pour the water. Words plus movement equals memory. Turn your niche into a sanctuary from comparison by making it painfully specific. Name the person you serve, the pain they wake up with, and the promise you help them keep. Build for that person today. When you build for a face, metrics become signals instead of verdicts. Keep a tiny folder called People Helped, screenshots, initials, notes. When worry tries to convince you your work is vapor, open the folder. Reality beats rumor. Forgive fast so your mind stops paying interest on old debts. Forgive yourself for yesterday's stall. Forgive the person who didn't show up. Forgive the version of you that didn't know what you know now. Forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. It ends captivity. From my subjective view, nothing frees creative voltage faster than releasing the courtroom you've been running in your head. Design micro rituals for the hinges of your day, because hinges decide how doors swing. Before you open your phone, one breath cycle, one gratitude, one line of truth, one needle mover. Before a meeting, ground your feet, slow your voice, ask one clean question. Before bed, 2 columns, my step divided by God's part. Then tear the column that isn't yours and put it in a drawer. These aren't theatrics, they're the rails that carry you when emotion spikes. Audit your inputs like a pro. Unfollow accounts that spike agitation more than conviction. Silence notifications that confuse someone else's emergency with your mission. Replace doom scroll minutes with a 5-minute service lap. Answer one person's question, share a template. Send a voice note to someone in your lane. Usefulness is a solvent. It dissolves self-absorption without shaming you for being human. If money is the drumbeat of your worry, give it rhythm. Same time every Friday, open the numbers without drama. Pick 3 levers, reduce a leak, replace a low-yield task with a better one, raise value with a sharper promise, calendar the steps, pray over the plan. Bless what I steward, provide what I cannot. Faith doesn't cancel math. It gives you the courage to face it and keep moving. Body first, not as vanity, but as voltage. Water within reach, light on your face before screens, 15 minutes of movement, a bedtime that isn't negotiable. Anxiety is louder when voltage is low. Protect your voltage so obedience is affordable. If you're caregiving or stretched thin, keep micro rituals that fit inside chaos. 3 breaths, a 2-sentence prayer, a quick step outside, a text that says, I'm upright. You're not stealing from your calling by staying human. You're sustaining it. When shame tries to rename you, counter with identity and evidence. Identity, I am guided, not guessing. Loved before successful. A steward, not a performer. Evidence, your courage banked 10 moments you did the hard right thing anyway. Read 2 before high stakes work. Evidence dissolves drama. Personally, I feel this is where psychology and faith hold hands. Confession sets the frame. Receipts steady the frame. Keep your craft simple and repeatable so fear can't ransom it. 10 hooks for one idea. Choose one, schedule the rest. Draft today, edit tomorrow. Ship by noon. Publish clip, email. Then step away for an hour before looking at responses. Fridays. Prune 1 distraction. Plant 1 upgrade. A cleaner. CTA. A reusable checklist. A stronger opening. Depth over drama, always. Let the body of work carry the weight that one post never should. And when the day still collapses, and sometimes it will, don't torch your system. Run the fast, return. Tell the truth without theatrics, run the surrender loop. Once, locate, limit, lean, lift, leave. Repair one process you can point to, release the rest. And ship something small before you sleep. The win isn't a streak, it's stamina. The testimony isn't I never worried, it's I learned to give God what isn't mine and move the inch that is again and again until peace felt like home. If you need one move right now, write your loudest worry in 7 words or fewer. Draw the 2 columns. Choose one action you can finish before the clock moves 15 minutes. Say it out loud so your body hears you. Peace sets my pace, purpose sets my plan. I'll do the inch that's mine and let God hold the horizon. Then start, let the rest meet you on the way. There's a point where you realize the most rebellious thing you can do in a worry-soaked world is to live at a sane pace on purpose. Not slow because you're scared, steady because you're anchored. Start practicing curiosity over control. Control keeps asking, how do I make life guarantee me a result? Curiosity asks, what can I learn in the next inch that moves me toward faithfulness? Control tightens your chest. Curiosity opens your lungs. Personally, I feel the fastest way to unjam a tense moment is to swap. This must work for, let's run the next clean experiment. Try this. When tension spikes, run the C. A, L, M, loop, center, assess, lean, move, center. 2 slow breaths and 1 line of truth spoken out loud. Assess. Name the real constraint, time, skill, clarity, help, instead of blaming yourself in the abstract. Lean, give God the outcomes again. I'll carry obedience, you carry results. Move, 1 concrete action that fits inside 15 minutes. The win is completion, not impressiveness. From my subjective view, 5 minutes of honest motion is worth more than 50 minutes of mental rehearsal. If your calendar keeps smearing into one long blur, adopt a simple weekly rhythm that respects both your craft and your cortisol. Monday, map outcomes, not tasks, and write the first drafts. Tuesday, deep work, 90 minutes before communication apps. Wednesday, edits and alignment calls, short, clear, decisive. Thursday, ship, clip, and distribute. Friday, review what helped real people. Prune 1 distraction, plant 1 upgrade. Weekend, genuine reset, sunlight, stillness, unmonetized joy. Let that cadence be your metronome. Worry can't keep a beat. Rhythm can. Make your niche unmistakable by writing a 1-sentence promise that a tired person can say back, I help go from to by. Tape it above your workspace. Everything you publish should prove that promise with clarity, compassion, and small wins. When your promise is precise, you stop chasing every trend and start becoming someone's trusted rhythm. Depth creates demand. Consistency creates compounding. When you feel the itch to compare, do a face swap. Replace the successful stranger in your head with the specific person you serve. Their morning commute, their quiet fear, the bill in their pocket, the prayer in their mouth. Ask what would make them breathe better today. Build that. Comparison evaporates when usefulness walks in. Save receipts, screenshots, initials, little stories of relief. On rough days, your courage bank will carry you farther than any pep talk. Turn conflict into a classroom. Before a hard conversation, write 3 lines you can read to yourself. My job is clarity, not control. I will tell the truth without theatrics. I will aim for repair, not victory. In the room, go facts, impact proposal. Here's what happened. Here's how it landed on me. Here's what I propose next. Who does what by when. If the other person can't meet you there, forgive quickly and adjust access. Forgiveness keeps your heart clean. Boundaries keep your life clear. Give your finances the same kindness you give your friends. Attention without drama. Open the numbers each Friday for 20 minutes. Choose 3 levers for the next 30 days. Reduce 1 leak. Replace 1 low-yield effort with a better one. Raise value with a sharper promise or clearer package. Put dates on each lever. Pray over the plan. Bless what I steward. Provide what I cannot. Faith isn't avoiding spreadsheets. It's opening them with a steady hand. Treat your body like infrastructure, not an afterthought. Voltage precedes vision. Keep water within reach. Get light on your face before screens. Move for 15 minutes daily. Guard your bedtime like an appointment with your future self. If you're caring for others or running on fumes, keep micro rituals that survive chaos. 3 deep breaths, a 2-sentence prayer, a quick step outside, a text to one friend that says, "Still showing up." You are not cheating your calling by staying human. You're ensuring you can answer it again tomorrow. When shame tries to rename you, you never counter with identity plus evidence. Identity. I am guided, not guessing. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I was loved before I was successful. Evidence. Open your courage bank and read 2 moments when you did the hard thing anyway. Say the lines out loud while you take one aligned step. Send the note, start the timer, draft the first paragraph. Shame withers in motion. Make distribution boring on purpose so fear can't hold it hostage. Every long piece becomes 5 short pieces pulled from the strongest 30 seconds or clearest paragraph. 1 flagship channel for depth. 1 discovery channel for reach. 1 owned well email divided by community for relationship. Publish clip email. Then step away for an hour before checking reactions. If something underperforms, fix mechanics, not mission. Clearer promise, tighter open, simpler CTA, better timing. Don't let a sleepy Tuesday rewrite your theology. Keep 2 scripts ready, the apology and the self-forgiveness. The apology. Direct, specific, 0 self-defense, followed by a concrete repair. The self-forgiveness. I did the best I could with the light I had. I will correct this one part and keep moving. These 2 scripts kill dread's leverage because you've already decided how you will behave when things wobble. That's real confidence. Pre-decided integrity. Design your environment to default to destiny. Put your journal or anchor book where your phone used to sleep. Lay out tomorrow's workout clothes. Leave a sticky note on your keyboard with the top 3 in the first sentence you'll write in the morning. Put a small off switch in sight, a literal timer or a physical box for your phone. Willpower is loud and short-lived. Environment is quiet and persistent. Honor the hinges of your day. Before screens, breath, gratitude, 1 line of truth, 1 needle mover. Before meetings, ground your body, lower your voice, choose 1 question that serves the room. Before bed, 2 columns. My step divided by God's part, write 1 action for tomorrow. Hand God the outcomes and tear the column that isn't yours. Whisper your sleep sentence, God works while I rest. The goal is not to never wake, it's to return to peace faster than last month. If everything feels like too much, shrink it until it fits inside 5 minutes. 5 minutes of drafting, 5 minutes of movement, 5 minutes of the surrender loop. Locate the fear, limit what's yours versus His. Lean with plain prayer. Lift one faithful action, leave the residue. You are not behind, you are between versions. 5 faithful minutes, repeated, will deliver you to the next one. Finally, anchor the day with a benediction you can actually keep. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. I will do the inch that is mine and let God hold the horizon. Say it slowly, let your shoulders drop, then do the inch email sent. Glass of water, paragraph drafted, boundary set, walk taken. The world doesn't need your panic, it needs your presence. And presence is what you become when you trade what if for even if, control for curiosity, and performance for service again today, again tomorrow, until trust is no longer a technique, but your natural way of moving through the world. There's a freedom that arrives the day you stop chasing a perfect life and start building a faithful one. Perfection demands guarantees. Faithfulness asks for today's inch. Worry keeps bargaining for a future it can control. Trust keeps choosing the present it can steward. Start here. Decide that you will not abandon simple obedience because complex outcomes are unclear. You are responsible for what is in your hands. God will be responsible for what is in his. Personally, I feel that single decision made once in the morning and remade quietly all day does more to stabilize a life than any hack, planner, or productivity trick. When the mind starts forecasting disasters, borrow the scientist's posture. Instead of "this must work," try "let's run the next clean experiment." Experiments have hypotheses, small scopes, and honest reviews. Pick the variable you'll test: hook, posting time, subject line. Define success ahead of time and move. If it flops, you learned. If it lands, you ship again. Worry treats every move like a verdict on your worth. Experiments treat every move like a data point. From my subjective view, this shift alone pulls you out of paralysis and back into play, which is where creativity breathes. Make your mornings an act of quiet defiance. Before the world has a chance to set your thermostat, set it yourself. Breath that reminds your body you're safe. Gratitude that retrains your scan for good. One line of truth that becomes a plumb line. And one move that proves you're not waiting for motivation to knight you. Do it precisely because you don't feel like it. Feeling follows formation more often than formation follows feeling. You are not faking it. You are fathering it, guiding your nervous system into a better rhythm. Then give your day a metronome. Think in blocks, not blur. One block for deep work on the thing future you desperately wants done. One smaller corral for admin, so tasks stop ambushing you. 2 tiny resets, so hormones never get to red without exits. A non-negotiable stop time that says we trust the giver more than our grind. Excellence is not endless, it has boundaries. You will not build a life of peace by betraying the body that has to carry it. Keep your niche painfully clear so comparison has nowhere to hide. Write the sentence and make it sing to a tired person. I help go from to by, tape it where your eyes land. Every piece you make should keep that promise. When you build for a face instead of a crowd, metrics become signals, not verdicts. Save receipts, emails, DMs, little moments of relief. On days the numbers are quiet, open the folder and let evidence interrupt the rumor that your work is vapor. Practice preemptive repair. Draft the apology you hope you never need. Direct, specific, zero self-defense with a concrete next step. Draft the boundary you postponed. Kind, clear, early. Draft the self-forgiveness you'll need when courage outruns skill. I did the best I could with the light I had. I will correct this part and keep moving. Anxiety loses leverage when the words for the worst corridors already exist. Confidence is not bravado. It's pre-decided integrity. Turn money from a shadow into a conversation. Same chair, same time, every Friday. Open the numbers without drama. Choose 3 levers. Reduce a leak. Replace a low-yield effort with a better one. Raise value with a sharper promise and put dates on them. Pray over the plan. Bless what I steward. Provide what I cannot. Then do the math. Faith is not allergic to spreadsheets. It's the courage to face them and still carry peace. Guard your inputs like medicine. Most worry is downstream of diet. News without context, feeds without fences, opinions without fruit. Unfollow what spikes agitation more than conviction. Mute what confuses other people's urgency with your mission. Replace 10 minutes of doom scroll with a service lap. Answer a real person's question. Share a template. Send a generous voice note. Usefulness dissolves self-obsession without shaming you for being human. When shame tries to rename you, speak identity and pair it with motion. Say it aloud so your body hears you. I am guided, not guessing. I am responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I was loved before I was successful. Then move 1 inch in agreement with that truth. Open the dock, book the call, pour the water, lace the shoes. Shame requires stillness to multiply. Motion cuts off its oxygen. Your body is infrastructure. Voltage precedes vision. Keep water within reach. Step into daylight before screens. Move for 15 minutes and guard your bedtime like an appointment with your future self. If you're caregiving or stretched thin, design micro rituals that fit inside chaos. 3 slow breaths while you wash your hands, a 2-sentence prayer in the doorway, a quick step outside, a text that says, I'm upright. You are not betraying your calling by staying human. You are preserving it. Build community on purpose. A truth teller who hands you reality without theatrics. A peer who shares your lane and swaps playbooks. And a beginner you serve because teaching cements courage. Keep the touch points small and rhythmic. 10-minute Monday intentions with the peer. 15-minute Friday what worked divided by what wobbled with the truth teller. 20 minutes a week helping the beginner solve a concrete problem. Isolation breeds imagination's worst-case movies. Community returns you to evidence. Turn distribution into a boring rhythm so fear can't hold it hostage. 1 flagship channel for depth, 1 discovery channel for reach, 1 owned well for relationship. Every long piece becomes 5 short ones pulled from its strongest 30 seconds or clearest paragraph. Publish clip email, then step away for an hour before you check reactions. If a piece underperforms, adjust mechanics, clear a promise, tighter open, single CTA, better timing. Don't let a sleepy Tuesday teach you theology about your worth. Rehearse goodness as deliberately as anxiety rehearses catastrophe. At lunch, write 1 line in a goodness ledger. Where did grace meet me today? The message that landed, the laugh you didn't expect, the insight mid-walk. This is not denial, it's data. Your mind becomes what it repeats. Train it to see what strengthens you, not just what scares you. Document the unglamorous things that already work. The checklist for your recording setup. The 10-hook generator you run before scripting. The publishing cadence you follow even when tired. The storm memo you read when the sky cracks. Tell the truth without drama. Run the surrender loop once. Choose 1 repair. Text 1 friend. Ship something small. Rest on purpose. We don't torch systems when we're tired. We return to them. Put these in a folder called Rails. Reach for it before you reach for panic. And please, keep joy on the calendar like part of the job, because it is. 1 unmonetized delight daily. A walk with no headphones. A psalm out loud. A song you don't critique. Coffee in a real cup. A note to someone who helped you breathe this year. Joy is not a perk, it's fuel. People who last don't out-muscle pain, they out-nourish it. If the day collapses, and some will, don't let the failure write your name. Run the fast return. State the facts without theatrics. Separate my step from God's part. Take 1 faithful inch. Install 1 process. Upgrade you can point to, and release the residue on purpose. Ship something small before you sleep. The testimony you're building isn't I never worried. It's I learned to hand God the horizon and move the inch that's mine again and again until peace felt like home. If you need a move right now, here it is. Write your loudest worry in 7 words or fewer. Draw the 2 columns. My step and God's part. Choose 1 action you can complete before the next 15 minutes pass. Speak this out loud so your body hears your belief. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. I will do the inch that is mine and let God hold the rest. Then begin. Not because you feel invincible, but because you've decided worry doesn't get executive privileges in your life anymore. This series delivers a practical, faith-anchored operating system for living with peace over panic while you build a purposeful life. Core idea. Begin with God, then build with discipline. You carry what's yours: obedience, effort, integrity. And hand God what's his outcomes, other people's choices, timing, key frameworks and habits. Surrender loop, 5 steps. Locate the fear. Limit 2 columns. My step divided by God's part. Lean plain prayer. Lift 1 small action. Leave the residue. Covenant morning is approximately equal to 15 minutes. Breath gratitude. 1 line of truth. 1 needle moving action. Peace sets my pace. Purpose sets my plan. In sum, night transfer is approximately equal to 10-15 minutes. 2 columns on paper, tear off God's part. Breath 4-2-6, 1 sleep sentence, for example. God works while I rest. 3 specifics of gratitude. Decision triage. Reversible, decide fast. Irreversible, get 1 wise counsel. High leverage, do it in prime energy. In niche, if not, it's likely a detour. Rhythms that compound. O weekly, prune and plant, remove 1 distraction, add 1 upgrade. O service review, who was helped, biggest lift with least friction, 1% improvement. O alignment hour, truth receipts of impact, prune inputs, plan and upgrade. Craft and distribution, clarify, compress, connect, draft, edit, ship, 1 long piece, 5 shorts, 1 flagship channel, 1 discovery channel, 1 owned well, email divided by community. Niche clarity. I help go from, to, by, build for 1 real person. Let metrics be signals, not verdicts. Keep a courage divided by impact bank, screenshots, thank yous, to beat doubt with evidence. Recovery, flywheel, reveal facts, return to alignment. Repair, 1 process, divided by skill, divided by boundary. Release the residue, ship something small. Body as infrastructure, water within reach, light before screens, 15 minutes movement, protected bedtime, micro rituals for hectic seasons. Boundaries and communication, kind knows, clear. Definition of done, facts, impact, proposal, and tough conversations. Forgive quickly. Rebuild trust with evidence. Identity declarations, spoken. I am guided, not guessing. I'm responsible for obedience, not outcomes. I was loved before I was successful. Daily, 15-25 minutes total. 1, morning, covenant. 15, breath, gratitude, 1 line of truth. 1 needle mover, start a 25-min timer. 2, midday, 5 minutes, run 1, surrender loop on the loudest worry, do the smallest faithful action. 3, evening, 10 minutes, night transfer, 2 columns, tear off God's part, write a single sleep sentence list, 3 specifics of gratitude. Twice this week, deep work blocks, 2 times 90 minutes. Create divided by ship for your niche before opening communication apps. End of week, 20 minutes. Service review. Who was helped? What created the biggest lift? Where did energy leak? Name 1% upgrade for next week. Track just 3 metrics. Time to peace, how quickly you return after a wobble. Promises kept, covenant, start 1 move, stop time. People helped, add to your courage, divided by impact bank. Then reply or note in your journal. I'm in for 7 days. Start now. Write your loudest worry in is less than or equal to 7 words. Draw the my step divided by God's part columns. Pick 1 action you can finish in 15 minutes and begin. Peace sets your pace. Purpose sets your plan.